I've been an Indian athlete and an entrepreneur in sports. So I'm usually more used to talking with my action than words. I, it's better that way for me, but I've been into sports for almost 25 years of my life, and as a player, now as an entrepreneur, still playing, trying to manage both the things together. And I'm here to share certain experiences that I've come across, due to which I have understood the opportunities of the Indian market in sports and the availability and the growth that is happening in sports right now and in the coming 10 years. So how much do you really know about sports in India? Do people know how many sports are there which are officially played? No idea? How many sports? So there are 3,000 sports that are played. 3,000 sports. And there are 56 sports which are officially registered to the central government of India, where government supports players to get jobs at certain levels, like first class 1, class 2, class 3, depending on the achievement of the player. So this market is a very huge market when it comes down to seeing it very to the deep. So these data are not really available everywhere, but we being associated at the ground level, we try to study around, because we've had to work out of it, we have to earn out of it. So we have certain studies that we have made at our level to understand that what are the opportunities and how can we stick to the sport or the passion and for the longest period of time and earn out of it. So basically working with your passion is the space to have a longer life, and you can go for hours doing whatever you require in the sports. But people don't really know about it, and the sports field is not just about playing. People just don't understand sports at that level, because people think it is just playing, it's on the ground. But being a player, I need a team of at least 10 to 12 different people, right from the legal to the management to the physios, strength and conditioning coaches, sports scientists, doctors, event management teams. All of the other areas are directly linked to the sports, but people are not really exploring it and trying to capitalize on it because they don't know how many events happen. So in sports, if you see, like as I said, like there are 56 sports, and every sport which is played at the top level, there are on an average around 500 players playing in every age group at the top level. So it's a big tree that goes down to the grassroots. So it's like the top line is playing, every sport is having, so 56 sports into 500. So it's just the top line. So if you see the business, it is at the ground, where people at the ground level, so there is a club level tournament, then there happens a district level tournament, then happens a state level tournament, then happens an international. But the people who make it to the internationals is like 1 or 2%. And India is having a very difficult time earlier, as we know, people never preferred sports as a career. One was because engineering was the hype for the last 12-15 years, and it has changed a bit now, and people are choosing their passion and opportunities and starting up things now. Similarly, if you see now, as there are so many events that are happening, and there are so many players at the top level, and the opportunities are so many, so huge, there are certain sports only people know in India, which are like cricket, football, hockey, wrestling, badminton, and few more, because these sports have a history. These sports have been played in India for more than 50-60 years at least, and that is why these sports have commercialized in this particular time, in the last 15-20 years. Why they become commercial? Because there has been a data now. People know about it, people know how many players are there, and there are two main factors into sports. Like one is facilities, and the second one is athletes. The people who influence the sports. Without the right athlete or the great performing athletes, no one gets inspired, no one tries to become that great, because similarly in every field you look up to someone. Like if you see in businesses, we look up. So in business, I look up to Tata. In sports, I look up to Sachin. So we have our goals or idols where we think of reaching, but we backtrack them, how they did it, what they did. So similarly, in sports, only these 5 sports have a history. So in the recent times, I have been trying to structure and find out data of sports, of how many players are there in India, how many professional grounds are there in India, how many business opportunities are there. So for the last 6 years, I've been exploring different fields in India, like for the sports, like the sports science, sports education, strength and conditioning, training facilities, and sportswear, equipments. So when I came down to studying it, there was no data available. If you go in Europe or in any other country, they have their data of kids from the age of 5 to the last day they play. They know what the player has done. They know what the player is capable of. They understand, they analyze. They have certain testing methods that they carry from the early age or direct their kids in a particular way. But in India, it might start now because we now use those systems for the kids or the players who are at that early age or below 11. And thus, it's a process where you have a good opportunity in the sports market now to, till 2023 or 2030, it is going to be a huge market. So any other field in India, the sports market is going to be in the top 3 for sure, if you consider it as a business. In cricket, particularly, as India and everyone knows about cricket, most of them play, like I feel 90-95% of the people have at least holded a bat in their life. So we have made a small case study to explain the possibilities. Like in this also, in the presentation above, if you see the badminton, number of people who play badminton is 61 million. Hockey is around 77 million, 54 million footballers are there, 38.5 million wrestling players are there. But every sport is dominated in certain area. Why is it that the top level athletes, if you know Vinisha Fogart and all these wrestlers, only come from the Haryana side or the Punjab side? What is the reason? So I was particularly thinking about it a lot, because there are certain sports. So like cricket is dominated by Mumbai, wrestling is dominated by Haryana, Punjab, football is dominated by Northeast. So there is a long history, as I said, like these sports have been being played since the British time, and Britishers have created facilities in those times. So Kolkata and those areas were the time where facilities were created, and there is a league which was started by the Britishers and is still played. So there are 3 to 4 different levels of football leagues that happen in Kolkata, which have been started in 18th century. So that long history it has, the data it has, thus the people there engage and try to play the sport more. Similarly, cricket is dominated in Mumbai, badminton is dominated in Bangalore and Hyderabad. If you see all the players who play at the international level or who achieve something or the medals, they come from these areas only. But why? So there are only 2 main reasons. One is the facilities that they have. The biggest reason is the facilities. So Mumbai alone has 27 cricket grounds. Mumbai is somewhere around 1,49,000 acres. In 1,49,000 acres, 135 acres is just to play cricket. And few other grounds as well, where people can just go around and play. It's not necessary to have a full-size ground. And if you see, there is a small story which I'd like to share about cricket. So in what happened in 82? 82 was the first time when television came into picture. So TVs came into the market, Indian market. And 83 was the time when India won the World Cup for the first time. So that time the TVs were like, so probably one had a TV, but a full community or the full societies used to come and gather together and watch the TVs there. So that was a time where actually cricket made a very good impact of entertainment. And it was a time when Kapil Dev and Sunil Gavaskar and Sandeep Patil and few more other players who came. So if you see that Indian team also in 83, there were 4 to 5 players who played from Mumbai. Why was that? Because they had facilities since then. And thus they made it to the Indian team because they were used to playing the sport. Convenience is one of the major reason to play a particular sport. So I played roller sport because it was convenient for me to go and play. I didn't have cricket facilities around. Similarly, cricket in Mumbai is a big thing because there are so many facilities there. And it is easy and accessible, and they have a history, they have coaches, they have people who have experienced the sport from day one. They can teach them from different levels, different eras. We don't have that. If you don't have the facility, you don't have players. If you create a facility now, after 50 years, there will be a person who has experienced the last 30, 40 years. Everything comes down to experience. If there is a person who teaches the right way after 40 years, telling him that these are the things that happened in the early 10 years. So this is how it grows. And there is a data that was created. So after 83, people started watching it, loving it. So it has it had a traction. Cricket had a traction. People started naming their kids by Kapil Dev. Then came Mohammad Azharuddin. Then came Sunil Gavaskar. So there were influential people who influenced that particular sport. And thus, if you see, Mumbai is a big number. So there are 300 clubs that are registered in Mumbai. 300 clubs. So Mumbai gets alone 70 crores from BCCI to have a grassroots development where they do the scouting, they invest in people who can increase the feasibility or the abilities of the players on the long run, getting in those technologies, creating the right facilities, maintaining it for that long. And that is where it comes down to. It is the right business model. Every player that plays cricket from the state level is earning today. So they have that security. They know that even if they don't actually perform really out of the box, but they are going to make a living out of it at a certain level. But it is not same for the other sport. When it comes to cricket, this is the Saktam. But why it is not for the other sports? Because these other sports don't have those people who can actually run it as a business. All the players are the one who only know about the sport, and they know about the ability or the opportunities that are there, but they don't have that business acumen. And thus, they are just doing it in those areas and they don't know how to create data, how to monetize, how to capitalize, how to create more opportunities, how to multiply. There's no way they are able to do it, because one is because of their background. Athletes are never majorly from the business backgrounds. Very few. So I come from a business background, thus I am trying to just dig into more and more and try to capitalize on the opportunities that I could in the coming time in the sports market. So it's like, if you see, also in the current Indian cricket team, 15 to 20% of the players are from Mumbai. So this is a direct connection with the number of facilities that are available in a particular area to the number of top line players. So thus the grassroots players are also similarly on a higher number. If at all we can replicate the similar structure, considering the area calculation to the number of people and the opportunity that can be created, or if we consider just the cricket grounds and create facilities around those, around the cricket ground, the other sports are going to get a higher visibility, and that will create more opportunities in the coming few years. But it is the matter of how to structure it and how can the funds be given by the government. So there is a small example, the recent example. So Rohan Bopanna is now the world #1 at the age of 43. So it's a 1 in a billion case that happens. It's a very rare thing to happen. Similarly, Alcaraz became a pro at the age of 15, and Rohan Bopanna became a pro at age of 23. Becoming pro at 23 is because he started playing professionally at the age of 11. Why did he start playing at the age of 11? Because in the early age, people don't really see it as an opportunity, or parents were not really promoting that playing any sport as that huge opportunity. Becoming a pro after 10 is something which shortens your career span. So it's necessary for making our players play from the age of 4 or 5. Then we can have a player who can be a pro at the age of 15, and then he can have a longer career. Similarly, when you graduate after 22 to 32, you keep switching jobs, looking for opportunities, and create something which you actually want to stabilize by the age of 30 to 34. And you have a constant earning, and you try to multiply things around it then. But so in sports, if you have a career that starts at 15, nothing like it. And Europeans are already around it. They're ahead of time. They're 10, 15 years ahead of us. And our top players also, like Neeraj Chopra, Tejashwin Shankar, the people who got a big achievement in the recent national games, they have been at their peak at the age of 19, 18. But there has been a study, if people don't know, government has spent more than 4 to 5 crores yearly on those players, just to make them the great athletes, because the scouting and recruitment and understanding has came into the sports, data management has came into the sports, facility development has came into that particular sport. Now they are growing, now they are getting medals. So let's move down to the next slide. How it can be a commercial thing. If you see, DLF was the company who actually started the first ever television league, which is IPL. How did they think over it? Why did they do it? Why was the league started? So they had a data of people. They had a data of people who were data of people like Sachin and all. Because of them, commercialization came into picture. The numbers were started creating around it, and thus the person who started the league saw an opportunity of doing a business with those numbers. So he started this particular event, and IPL was just 300 million then. The value of IPL was 300 million in 2008. Today, the IPL stands at 10.7 billion. 10.7 billion value. Any other league, if you compare, Pro Kabaddi is at 120 million. The Hero ISL is at 53 million. So these are the numbers. So all the other leagues are commercializing, starting, and players are earning out of it. If the players are earning out of it, the player number is going to grow. That is a direct connection. The facilities are growing now, and the opportunities are being created. So it's a structure where you start investing in the facilities, player will start growing. If players are there, every single field that is related to sports is going to have business, and there is opportunity. So it's the right time for India or anyone in India to look for an opportunity or dig for opportunity of connecting in some way with your own fields to do business or to associate with the federations or in some other way. So there are the associations of the federations, the only way you can actually create the business around, because they have the players, they have the data, they can give you the opportunity which you can do it for, like right from data analysis, production, digital marketing, whatever you see. So there are so many fields that are linked, not just players, athletes, coaching, physiotherapy, mashers, trainers, sports scientists, nutrition, analysis and statistics, presentation, anchors. So these are the things, ground staff, cameramen, event management, journalists. So there are so many fields, and there is also the legal side, and there are a few more other fields that are directly associated to it. So if you see, and why will you do it? Because you have a number of 750 million recreational people or professional people playing the sport. So you need to, it is just a matter of understanding the opportunity and going for it and how it is going to grow. So data analysis and sports science is the major area right now, which is lacking and which is the fastest growing. In the last 3-4 years, every sports association has started generating data of their athletes to get in the right investment, to get in the right funds. Odisha government has done a lot of investment in hockey. They've spent 200 million just to create facilities in the last 4 years. It's a huge thing because they know the number of people or the players they have and the potential of having those facilities. Because just facilities, you come in with, people come down to your country, people come to play here. The foreigners will choose coming here because you have the right facilities, and that is how it goes. If you have the right standard facilities, players are going to come and play. If you have the staying facilities around it, it's going to be a school or a hostel for it. If people have, so like Balewadi, it's a hostel plus school. There is a school that runs on the Krida Prabodhini. So it's like the students who are there invest 60% of their time in playing the sport. And thus, they make it to the national team. So the 30 to 40% of the Indian hockey, Maharashtra hockey players are from the particular school. So these are the opportunities. And there is one and the last thing that I'll say. What sells the best? Emotions and entertainment. People only engage on emotions and entertainment. These are the two things that are directly connected to the sport. So if you want to do something, it's the right thing to do and capitalize on. So I'll end my talk with this.